Hello and welcome to the Lyrical Analysis podcast. My name is Amo Panasar and I'm joined by the Metal Elder, aka my father, Sat Panasar.
Hello.
My very good pal, the Tempest, aka Stuart Wilkie.
Hello.
And another very good pal of mine, the calmest man alive, Ryan Willis.
I'm always last.
It's how we do things on this
We
podcast.
save the best for last, Ryan.
I
like to think so. It's all about that continuity. Now, listeners, I'm sure you're all thinking, what the hell is this lyrical podcast malarkey? Well, let me tell you. I've felt for the longest time that there's an epidemic in music where if the beat of a song is good, people completely forget about the words they're actually listening to. And I'm no saint, I'm very much guilty of this from time to time myself, so I thought it'd be a good idea to go through and analyse the lyrics of some of the world's most popular artists and try and decipher exactly what message they're conveying. We'll be giving our honest opinions and you may agree or disagree with us, but that's all part of the fun. The artist we'll be covering this week is the incredible... Guys?
Aretha Franklin.
Aretha
The Queen of Soul.
Franklin, indeed. Let's get straight into it, people. So, the first song on the list is Dr. Feelgood, aka Love is a Serious Business. So, where would people like to start with this? Are you going through your notes?
I'm going to find it in my notes, right? Okay.
Are we ready?
We are ready, yes.
Alright, cool. Do you want to... Actually, you know what? Seeing as Ryan, I always pick you last on the intro. You can go
You
first
buried yourself
with the
now,
first
mate.
song.
Well, this is Dr. Feelgood.
Mm-hmm.
It is a song.
Yes.
I quite like it.
Okay.
It's fun.
Okay.
We always research the songs beforehand, and I was just listening to a Aretha Franklin playlist, and I was like, I like this one.
This is the best one.
I'm enjoying it.
Alright, first verse. Any lyrics that you guys can see, Ryan in particular, that's
Throw it
stick
straight
out.
at me.
Yeah. I'm really putting you on the spot this week.
Yeah, you are. I don't like it.
I can chip in if you want.
I shouldn't have mentioned my position.
This is going back to bite you in the arse. Alright, I'll start things off. So I put in my notes, great verse. Yeah, I just think... What the hell have I written here?
Can't even read your own writing.
It's a very sensual song, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, I got it. That's what I said. So I thought I was being a bit of a dirty-minded bastard in the first verse by...
Almost
I knew you were going to bring
She
it down.
was.
No, I thought I was being...
Oh, you were?
Let me read out the first verse. So, I don't want nobody always sitting around me and my man. I don't want nobody always sitting right there looking at me and that man. Be it my mother, my brother, or my sister, would you believe I get up, put on some clothes, go out, and that sounded so posh then, and just so...
Put on some clothes.
Put on some clothes.
Good upbringing,
God,
Alan.
I'm so prude. So prudish and prudy. Okay, anyway.
Feel
So...
good.
Oh lordy, I am dirty.
Oh golly gosh, Ryan.
Twirl of the mustache.
You know what I don't get? You know, like, British people, like, in the wider world, we're seen as really prudish when it comes to, like, sex
Yeah.
and stuff. I don't get that.
Oh, I don't know
If
why.
they came here...
Oh, they'll be so shocked. A lot of people are shocked when they come to like
Do
London
you
and
think-
Birmingham and stuff.
Do you think when foreigners like come over from like for uni, then they see what we're actually like on nights out?
Absolutely.
They must be so shocked and appalled. Not appalled, but
Appalled.
oh,
I
shocked
think-
and appalled. The poshness continues.
I think they're pleasantly surprised
Do
for
you
the
think?
most part.
Oh, cool. Anyway, let me finish off reading that
It's
verse.
just the American impression, really, isn't it?
Yeah,
We think
I-
we're posh. Europe just think we're like trash.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. I think Europe is they're definitely.
They don't like us.
Brits
at all.
abroad.
Yeah, anytime that a British person is
Drunken
represented on like a cartoon, it's always like buck teeth with a really like posh accent, wearing a suit
Yeah,
and drinking tea and scones and biscuits and all that.
I think Europeans are secretly happy with Brexit. But anyway, let's move on.
Low key, probably.
Back to
We're not.
Aretha.
Alright, so,
We're
um,
definitely not.
Let me start that mid verse again. So, be it my mother, my brother, or my sister. Would you believe I get up, put on some clothes, go out and help them find somebody for themselves if I can? Yes, I will. So, I think that I thought I was being really dirty by saying that couples. She's just saying Aretha is saying couples just need some time alone. And yeah, thought it was being vulgar. And then we skip ahead to a line, and I've put an arrow down to the next verse, and literally put "think again, ammo." There's a line in the second verse which is, "I tell you, girls, I dig you, but I just don't have the time to sit and sit and sit and sit and smile."
Sit tight and
Oh, wait, I'm pointing to the wrong thing. Shit.
Yeah, hang on.
No,
I
it
was
was when
gonna
me
say
and
that.
that man get to love it.
I mean, I'll cut this. So, and the line is, "When me and that man get to loving."
Mm-hmm.
So it's a very...
I love the way it's spelled as well. It's not even like loving L-O-V. It's L-U-V, so you know it's for real.
Apostrophe.
loving.
Ah.
Apostrophe
Is that
I-N.
code?
Yeah.
That's mate.
Yeah, an extremely sensual song.
Yes.
For sure, for sure. Yeah, I've talked for ages now, so
It's interesting
Dad,
the change
chip in.
from my man to that man.
To that man. That
I was
man's
gonna say
mine.
this.
He's not my man anymore. He's that man.
Yeah.
So why do you think that has occurred, people?
Because she doesn't think of him as property. Because she respects him as an individual.
But she did in the first line. Or
I
second
don't
line.
know. I was just spewing nonsense. Maybe.
You know, when I said there was my man and that man, so I thought there's a third man.
Maybe.
Oh,
Maybe. Dr.
oh,
Phil-
really?
Because she says sitting around me and my man, and then she's looking at me and that man. So I think she wants that man
you
to
reckon-
disappear so she and her man can get romantic.
Interesting. I like that's me. It's very, very soap opera of you. I love it.
But
to
then
be
why
honest.
why are people always sitting there looking at her and that man then as opposed to my man or her man?
Well, that could be from their perspective, like herself and that
I guess,
man.
I guess,
Like
I
whoever
guess.
that guy is. Maybe it's somebody that she's really ashamed of. Maybe Dr. Feelgood is not a nice man after all.
Maybe.
I think from what I found out what the song's all about is she didn't want to
I
spend
thought you
too
sounded
much...
the Okie Kokie then.
That's what it's all about.
You were doing the rhythm to
I was
it.
like, children's DJ, you know, weekend out. I do the hokey cokey 3 or 4 times.
And he turns
It's there. So yeah, I think what it was about was
Aretha's in the Hokey Kokie Mr. Feelgood. Let me tell you that right now for us.
so we had Mr. Tickle before, now hokey cokey.
The next line is, and
Yeah, I saw that, but oh.
Anyway, we're being sporadic. Dad.
Yeah,
Have your
she doesn't want too much time sort of with people milling around and dinner parties and companies because she's on tour, you know, in the public eye. So she just wants some romantic time with her man.
Is this
Love
quite-
is all you need.
Is this quite sensual for a song back then? I mean, it's very subtle compared to today's standards, but
Yeah.
back in your day, was this like seen as a bit, ooh,
Would this
I
be
think-
like held off radio station?
risque is the word?
Yeah,
yes,
if
right.
I'd have known about it, because I wasn't really aware of it until now, really.
Yeah.
Not something I'd listened to or remembered from back in the day. But it was pretty clean, you know, back
It
in
is-
the 60s.
It's a clean romance song.
Yeah.
70s.
If you get what I mean.
All things considered.
Yeah, all things considered, it's very clean.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
compared with some of her other stuff about female empowerment,
Yeah, yeah.
this is about I'm a woman,
Well, this was.
I have my needs.
Was this before or after, like, Respect and other classics like that?
Oh, I'll put dates down to it. You're testing me
never
now.
mind. Well, yeah, was
I can
thinking this could
insert
be-
here.
This could be like her earlier work, perhaps. Maybe it's just her maturing as a woman later on.
Insert here.
Perhaps I could be wrong, but either way, yeah, it just shows that she's got varying emotions about her loved ones.
Yeah. Anything else? Move on. Because I've got another
Yeah,
bit here.
carry on,
So we'll skip over the second sort of verse because we've talked about the main bit of it, I think. Oh yeah. Actually, let's go back to verse number 2 because the last 2 lines. I tell you girls, I dig you, but I just don't have time to sit and sit and sit and sit tight and smile. So, I put in my notes, Aretha does not abide by the chicks before dicks rule.
Okay.
Which was my observation on that. She ain't got time for her friends. She's all about that. Dr. Feelgood loving.
I mean, she didn't necessarily say friends. She just says like people.
I
Could
tell
be
you
just-
girls.
You girls could be like.
That is a
anybody.
good point. That is a
Like,
very
you
good point.
girls. I could call you guys you girls, but you know.
True.
Yeah.
I think maybe-
Well,
I
she could
think-
have said folks. I tell you folks.
Yeah, I tell you folks, maybe.
I think it's like, yeah, she could have been a bit more elaborate with the people, generalising people as a statement, but girls seems like my friends.
Yeah, I dig you.
Yeah. So, but now, and I'm thinking I'm probably right on this based on the previous lyrics that we've had.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah, I think so.
Like
yeah.
her friends don't want to, like they want to hang out with her, and she wants to hang out with a man.
Yeah. Either way, Aretha does not follow the bro
What
code
did
of
you say,
female.
Aretha?
Yeah, I mean, where's Aretha come from?
Sorry, I've got Aretha down here. Aretha. That looked like an eye.
The irony
Sorry,
that the next song.
sorry.
But Stuart, I was going to let the first one go.
Yeah, I
I
know,
know it was a
it's-
slip.
I
But
backed her up
twice.
Wait, have I been saying Aretha for the entire
twice.
podcast?
You said it twice now.
Twice,
At
yeah,
least
yeah.
twice.
Is it because it's that bit there? It looks like
I don't know.
It's okay.
It's how it
It's late. It's
Tis a
late. I've had a
blooper.
long goddamn day.
It is a blooper.
The slurry words.
Oh my god. Right, anyway, verse 3.
Okay.
Oh god.
So, verse 3.
Nothing gets past lyrical analysis.
Especially when you can't.
This is literally becoming into part ammo day on like every single week. But anyway, verse 3.
Yeah.
Don't
It's
send me
too
no
much.
doctor. Filling me up with all those pills. I got me a man named Mr. Feelgood. Oh yeah, that man takes care of all my pains and ills.
I
I
just
put
say-
here bars.
Yeah, but I was about
this
to
is
say,
awesome.
if someone released that today, like if Little Pump said that, Everyone would fucking love that.
Yeah, true.
Everyone would go mad, like, don't send me no doctor, fill me up with all those pills. Like, it's not obviously not a reference to, like, drug use, but if
Not at
someone was
all.
to have that connotation...
That's why it's good.
I know. Aretha was
That's
way ahead of
why
her time, man.
little-
She was... she sunned Little Pump, okay? Little Pump, Little Xan, they should all bow down to the Queen of Soul.
They should.
/ trap music. I don't know.
What?
Is that trap? What's their style of music?
What?
Like, you know, the Rainbow Head style is...
Crap.
Has the word rap in it. I don't know. Whatever their rap is.
Anywho.
Anna Ryan's just pointed out I've got different lyrics to you.
Oh.
So in that line you just said, I've got to sit and chit and sit and chit, chat and smile. And you've got tight
Sit
and
and sit
smile, I think.
Oh. That's odd.
Interesting.
Either way, point still stands.
It's definitely right. They're talking and chit-chatting.
Chit-chat.
With
That's all I got for that song. So that last bit there with those, but that is such. Those 4 lines are so good.
Yeah, what do you think about to take care of business?
Ooh, actually,
I was going
Because
to
she's
mention
used that a few
empowering is-
I was
times.
going to mention that in
Taking care of
Specs.
business,
Yeah.
TCB, yeah. So she's
TCB.
used TCB here
Yeah,
again.
well, I didn't realise this, but TCB was apparently like a quite commonly used phrase in the 70s
Yeah.
for that. Take like, oh, you got a TCB.
business time.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So lots of innuendos and
But it's done in a
layers to this.
It's done in a really good, clever way, not like today's standards where it's
Oh,
just like
jeez.
in your face.
So
pussy motherfucker.
overt, yeah.
It's interesting how taking pills is seen as, well, it's not frowned upon as much as it would be now.
But that's not taking pills as in like.
No, she's saying she doesn't need
This
those
is like.
pills.
Isn't this like
Is
she's
it-
referring to antidepressants there? Surely.
Oh, I thought I was going to say.
I don't think that's.
It could have been. It
I
could have been
don't-
Viagra. It could have been for Dr. Feelgood.
Could have been
You know what I'm
ecstasy,
saying?
I don't know.
He doesn't need it. He doesn't need it because he's Dr. Feelgood, Emma.
Anyway,
Literally, Dr. Feel Good. You know, there's another innuendo. How many? Count them.
this is
we're desecrating-
we are literally
we're desecrating the
destroying
classic here.
the memory of Aretha Franklin.
I'm sure it was a beautiful love story.
I'm sure it was better than Twilight.
Oh, 100%.
But yeah, anyway, it's so nice to see a song like this where it's about sex, but it's not just like, yeah, I got that pussy and I beat that pussy up. Like,
Yeah.
It's so nice to have that, and from the female perspective as well. It's not like, imagine this compared to like Nicki Minaj or like Cardi B now.
Yeah, it's a
The
completely different
intenseness
ballgame.
of that.
Yeah,
But I guess that's just a progression.
But, you
The
know,
world
it's
we live in
not
now.
just a sex thing. I think there's a romance, intimacy.
it's
meet
definitely
my
a sex
needs.
thing at the end of the song, though, where it
Yeah.
says, oh yeah, oh.
Good God Almighty.
Oh, good God Almighty!
The man shows.
He might have
real
been,
good.
you know, nibbling a earlobe or something.
Dad,
Still a sex thing, isn't it?
Dad, they're definitely fucking at this point.
Let's
And on
be
that
real.
note, let's move on to the next song. So,
I can't believe that.
the next song, Dad, you absolute sort of evangelist.
Yes, one of my
Dad
personal
sees the good in
favourites.
people.
Because I'm a basic Aretha Franklin fan. This
So,
is definitely one of my favourites.
One of Stuart's favourites.
God, which one have we got?
I can never remember how to spell it, though.
Me neither, you know.
Respect.
Shout out Sacha Baron Cohen. Going through a lawsuit right now. I'm backing him.
Is he?
Yeah. The
For?
blooming Roy Jones, the guy that like molested children, allegedly, is trying to sue him for like 95 million.
For what? What did he do?
He like basically he was on a news show where he impersonated somebody and got into like he pretended that they had like a paedophile reader and it was like a metal detector and he put it near him and it went off as if to like imply that he was a paedophile. So that got aired and now he's suing him. Anyway, back to the podcast.
Your favourite song? Your favourite song? You run with it.
R-E-S-P-E-C-T.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I just really like this song. Me and Sat were talking about it a little bit before, so we can get into it.
These guys always break my rule of do not talk about the content
It's-
before we start the podcast. It'll
It's
spoil
interesting.
the originality of our content when performing. But no, every time you guys come around on a Friday, that porch conversation, I hear I'm still sitting up upstairs, I hear from above, and
Get
what do you do?
involved.
Think of us as athletes limbering up
that's it, yeah,
for the
we're-
big race.
It's your fault for making it such an interesting
analysis
podcast.
muscles. This is
Oh
your
God,
fault.
the brainchild. how it hurts me.
This is the monster
Behind
being
the
created.
scenes of the Lyrical Analysis podcast.
It's all, it's all coming down.
Yes, spin off.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah.
Fucking song.
we initially, just for clarification, we initially had a rule that we didn't want to have covers involved. That's why, Son of a Preacher Man?
Son of a
Yeah.
preacher man.
So unfortunately, we're not doing that song because it was covered by
Dusty
Dusty.
Springfield.
Dusty Springfield. There you go. But we didn't realise that Respect was also a cover as well. But we had to keep this one because it is is so iconic. It is like her mainstay song. Like,
Oh
everybody
wait,
knows
Respect's
the
a cover.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I thought you were listening in on us. But anyway, yes.
No, I just heard you talking and I tried to zone you out. When I got too into it, I was like, I've got to come down and stop this shit.
Well, there we go.
So
We're
I
getting
did.
into it now with you both involved.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
But I think I didn't mention it sort of before the podcast because Aretha Franklin really sort of took it to another level.
Oh, 100%.
So she didn't just copy it; she put a few more
was
lyrics in.
yeah.
Musically wise, she put in some good piano bits and stuff,
100%.
and the backing singers. So I think it's quite far from the original.
Definitely. And I will say it's quite funny because Otis Redding's was in 1965. Yeah, shout out
Yep.
Otis Redding. Died way too soon, if you ask me. And Aretha's was 1967, 2 years later.
Yeah.
And this song is basically, obviously, about respect. Clues in the name, and I think it can relate to every single person, and you can prove that based on the fact that Otis Redding wrote this song from his perspective, and Aretha Franklin's version was also from her perspective. Like, they have two different connotations. One is of a grown man who's like trying to work hard, put food on the table, and all he's asking for when he comes home is a little respect from his missus. He doesn't want to like get chastised. He wants to just sit down and be with the woman he loves. Whereas Aretha, being a strong, independent woman, she wants her own respect. She wants her own due
perspective,
from her perspective.
Yeah.
She wants her man to respect her 100%.
Pause that.
Also, to add,
Pause that. Dimitri just called. Should we just let me see what he says, and I want to just sort of see how he'd react on the by being on the podcast. Though I'll cut it out. Let me just call him back.
oh,
I don't know where he
I was
is.
on a roll there. Sorry, lads.
yeah, that was good.
I was like, I'll stop the call from happening, but then I'll call him back in a second. Bro, are you in the country?
I am in the country, yes.
Oh, nice. We're currently recording a podcast. Do you want to be involved
Hey.
by cellular phone for a minute?
Hello, Dimitri. This is Chris Tarrant. We have Andy on here, and
Gosh, it's Chris. Oh, shit. Wait, you're doing a podcast right now?
Yeah, on Aretha Franklin.
Aretha. Oh, shit. I am not knowledgeable enough to partake in that sort of podcast. Plus, I've been drinking, so that's
Fair
that's
enough.
another one. But,
Respect, Dimitri. Respect.
Book me in for the next one, man. Book me in for the next one. Anything Childish Gambino related, that would be
Yes.
awesome. Because
Yeah.
I'm seeing him in November, so yeah.
Oh,
Jealous.
okay. We should be doing
Very
what's
jealous.
Are you not going?
Yes.
no.
I thought you'd definitely have got tickets for it.
The Gambino.
Anyway.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah, Dimitri, I'll give you a call after the podcast, yeah, if that's all good.
Yeah, man.
All
Have a
right.
good time.
Take care, man.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
Good old Dimitri.
Right.
Anyway, Seth.
So, just to add to Stuart's intro there, the Otis Redding version, quite interesting because he was quite a subordinate man in that song. So it was a plea from his desperation to give his woman anything from a monetary point of view, even if she did him wrong. But the only thing he wanted back from her was, right, here, honey, here's kind of food on the table, here's the money I've earned for us. And he just wanted her to give him respect for that and stay with him.
Yeah, as the breadwinner, as the provider,
That's right.
sort of thing. That was the like perspective that he had.
The archetypal male.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, it was kind of like the flip side of what you'd expect a man to be around that time.
Yeah, it's true. It was really, I guess it was ahead of its time again. In the 60s, you think? I mean,
Brave,
yeah,
that. Very
was, yeah, I guess so. I mean, that was the kind of the American dream, though, isn't it? In the 60s, just to work hard and put food on the table for your family, and
Yeah, but for a man to be viewed as weak, especially in that time, in that country.
That's true.
That's what I was saying really.
Well,
Whereas
it's rhythm and blues, isn't it? It is like it's meant to be like soulful and sad
Yeah.
at times and very emotional. This was like this is Drake in the 1960s.
Don't let's not do that.
Yeah,
Let's not
to-
sully the reputation of Aretha and...
I mean,
Mention the
I've
D
already
word.
referred to her as Little Pump's father, essentially.
You're going to get hate.
I love Aretha
I'll tell you what,
Franklin.
I hope you do.
She's an inspiring woman.
But even Otis acknowledged that Aretha's version was much better.
Yes, he did.
So hers was all about a strong, confident woman. So she has...
It's very magnanimous of him, Dad.
Yeah, I thought...
It's Dad's phrase.
One of my words.
That
One of
could
my
be
words,
that could
yeah.
be on a
It's a great
t-shirt,
word.
because I've checked the edits. You've said this about 3 times.
Magnanimous on this.
Yeah.
I didn't realise we were tracking repetition.
No, I just noticed these things now, and I'm thinking about merchandise.
So we're definitely getting
Oh,
it. Does this
magnanimous.
rhyme?
I'm
Oh,
magnanimous.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right, because I haven't done the edit yet. You will be getting your
Woohoo!
bloody theme songs. Yes. What do you call them? Jingles. Jingles.
Oh,
Yeah, jingles.
right, yes.
I'll do that for sure.
Mine's gonna be a hoodie just with
Mine's I'm just gonna have like. Never mind.
10 out of 10. Sorry, carry
So
on.
no, interesting. Aretha's version. So she's got everything, or she has everything her man would ever want in a woman, and she doesn't do him any wrong. But all she demands from him is respect.
Find out what it means to me.
But also, interestingly enough, it was used as an anthem for the civil rights movement and the women's rights movement as well.
Because
Respect.
it's very widespread appeal, isn't it? It's applicable to pretty much anyone alive with a heartbeat. Everybody wants to be respected. So
it's a massive hit in '67, and so '67, a lot of people knew it as the summer of Aretha Rap and Revolt. So it really was a very uplifting song from a number of perspectives. So that's why I thought it's so far from the original in so many ways.
Yes, 100%.
I think it can stand on its own.
Yeah, and you mentioned before the podcast, you like to listen to live versions of the songs.
Yes.
I'm not normally one for live music. I've mentioned this before. Once I've heard a song over and over again, I know the way that it sounds. If it sounds different, it's a bit off-putting to me. However, as much as I love the recorded version of Respect, a live version of Aretha Franklin singing the song, just epic. I've watched about 4 of them. They're from different locations and different times in her career.
Yeah.
Each time she's fantastic. She really, really was.
Spotless.
Unbelievable. She owned the stage.
Yeah.
Owned it.
And how elegant and sophisticated, none of these kind of super short shorts or anything like that.
She just wore lovely gowns.
Elegant dresses, and the backing singers looked really,
really
pretty and everything as well. So it was really, really good. And I must admit, when I listened to the opening tracks, it gave me goosebumps. It's one of those really emotive songs.
Yeah. You know immediately what this song is when you heard the first
Yeah, because I until now I thought it was about a mother's bond with mother and child bond.
Interesting.
So I thought it was all about she's going to work to look after her and bring her child up, and all she can think of is, I'm doing this for you. And
I'd never thought about
that's how I thought about it.
I mean, Mr. could quite easily be her son.
Yeah.
So it is applicable in that. That's fascinating. I'd never really thought about it from that.
That was just my own take on it.
I suppose your kiss is sweet. Then I don't know. You get pecks on the cheek from your kids. I suppose. It's not overtly a sexual song, is it? Let's be fair.
No,
well, there is a bit that says,
missing a bit.
"Is give it to me when you get home."
Yeah. Homework.
Maybe I'm just borrowing Ammo's mind there.
Hugs and snuggies.
Maybe that part.
If you've ever seen the Goldbergs,
I don't know how bad my mind got because I didn't know this was a cover. I got very confused by a lot of this song, so I put lots of notes by this. So I don't even know if I should say these because it's so.
Oh God! Hey, it's an interpretation of the lyrics.
But because I didn't know it was a cover, I'm now just being a dick.
I'm intrigued. Go ahead.
Alright, so the line is for a little respect when you get home, just a little bit.
All I'm asking.
And because of she said from the start, what you got, baby, I got it. What you need, you know, I got it. All I'm asking is for a little respect when you get home. In my mind, I was like, this is Aretha saying, don't try and sleep with me on the first date. Because she's saying all these things. Like, what you want, baby, I've got it. What you need, you know, I've got it. That's very sort of, alluring.
Yeah.
And I thought it's like, it's like her seeing a guy for the first time.
Possibly.
And she's asking for a little respect by, her seeing the guy and then him taking her home, whatever, and then not asking to come in.
That's a very interesting perspective as well, because that could literally be like...
But this is just another Ammo's minds in the gut.
I like that.
However, based on the
pitch...
True, yeah. But based on the 3 previous artists we've done, you can forgive me for thinking my mind is in the gutter. But the next bit is... I ain't gonna do you wrong whilst you're gone. I ain't gonna do you wrong because I don't wanna. So I saw that as I'm not gonna see other guys because I don't want to.
Yep.
That's what I saw that based on my logic going forward, right? And then I was very confused by this line. I'm about to give you all of my money. I was like, why would she give her date all of her money?
It's a robbery.
But we'll skim over that now.
This is a dark turn.
I put Y next to that. We'll skim over that now. The next bit is give me my propers. I was going to ask you this, Dad. Is this to be respectful in old people speak?
Give me my proppers.
Yeah, give me my props.
I don't think I've ever heard
I'm
of
assuming
that.
that's what it is,
Give me
but
my props.
Yeah,
Give
yeah.
me my admiration.
yeah. Okay,
Have we
cool.
got different lyrics? Oh, here we are. Right.
Or it's,
Yeah, it's just respect, I think.
Just check.
yeah,
Do you reckon?
yeah. Not just.
And then I referred back to ooh, your kisses sweeter than honey. Let me say that again. Ooh, your kisses sweeter than honey, and guess what? So is my money. I was like, why are you saying that after all this?
It even rhyme? yes, it does.
It's gonna be a really short jingle. It's gonna be used a lot. So I didn't get why the money thing was used again. So, but now I get it because of the cover
Is
situation.
this where you're kicking
I get
off
it.
again?
I'm not kicking off.
They used the same rhyme again. Muhammad Ali, you stupid.
Hang on.
out of
why
context,
is why?
first time listeners are going to be like, what the fuck? Why do you take a swing
Wait,
with
that's not, she said honey
There
and
was
money.
no way I'd take
It's actually a rhyming thing there,
That
right?
was honey and money. That's not the
H&M,
same word being
H&M.
used twice.
Yeah, but I thought
bitch.
you were going back to money before.
No, I'm not doing that. I'm not going
Can't go
free
back to the
verse,
previous
free
verse.
use
for? Come on, in two separate areas. That's outrageous.
Nah, if it's a verse more in between, I'll let it slide.
He'll allow it.
Doing an entirely different match.
Look, I'm chatting shit, alright? Anyway, is give it to me when you get home. That's me and Ryan on the same page there. Now she's saying give it to me when she gets home. I've literally just fucking ripped the fucking lyrics
You
there. R-E-S-P-C-T, iconic. I've got there just one of the most iconic lyrics I think in the last few
Take care,
decades.
TCB again.
Now,
Yeah.
my final part of my lyrical analysis, which is completely incorrect. The oh suck it to me, suck it to me, suck it to me, suck it to me.
Yeah.
Why suck it to me? Because suck it to me means attack or make a forceful impression on someone. I didn't get that from either perspective.
It's when you
Either-
place it inside a sock and give it to someone so it's in a softer wrapping.
Stop chatting shit.
I've never heard the term "suck it to me" in the phrase because obviously I think this is like the crescendo of the song and it's supposed to be like, oh no, I really want you now.
When I think of anything in a sock, I think of American Pie.
That's a fair.
No, I know it's
Yeah.
I
nothing.
don't think it's. I don't think it's like
No,
that.
I'm
that's
not. Look, I'm not saying that's what I think. I'm just saying to Ryan when he said that I'm thinking American Pie, which has
Okay.
nothing to do with this song. God, stop taking everything I say so literally.
It's
Like a drink of water as well, and I was like, ah.
You drank Stifler's
Ah,
tea.
Oh god.
Right, I'm done with the song. I think anyone else got any?
Yeah, I think
This one
that's
time
all.
at Bandcamp. No.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Haha.
I think it was the song that launched it, wasn't it? I think.
It's definitely the one that the mainstay. That's going to be replayed for the next 50 years onwards. I think.
100%.
And apparently she's going to have a biopic out relatively
she?
soon. I think they're still casting Aretha, but I
Who'd you
think
cast?
it'll probably be Jennifer Hudson.
Yeah.
It's probably the best choice. Yeah. Bit of an iffy figure, but hopefully she gets a chance to redeem herself.
There is some question marks to your theory, Ammo, that it was based on someone you're dating.
Look, I know I'm wrong now. Like I said this, I didn't realise it was a cover. Therefore, I'm completely wrong on all my analysis there. I just thought I'd showcase it for entertainment purposes.
Like the last line is like, and find out I'm gone. Were you like, oh, it's just the end of the date?
You know when yeah, that must have been what I thought. Fair enough. You know when like in back in the day when like there was no internet and lovers just left one another and then just they never spoke again. It's like how Dave Chappelle said it. Babe, I'm just going out to get some cigarettes and then never came back.
Leave the country or something. Yeah.
Very
Cross
much-
state lines.
You very much romanticise one night stands there. I love it.
You don't even have to.
Yeah.
You just move the
That's
village
true.
down.
I did- I did go from the first date to I've
In the
left
horse
you
and
forever.
carts. Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah, I did go from it's the first date to I've left you forever, never seen you again.
And my money is sweet
Goodbye.
like honey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Just
next
know
song.
that.
Next goddamn song.
Go on.
So, you make me feel like a natural.
Ah, yes.
First thing I'm going to say, as 4 men on this podcast,
It's very difficult.
what does being a natural woman actually feel like?
Ooh.
And I'm going to leave that to you. If you let me sit back and take a bit of a sip of my
Well.
protein shake, you guys can have at that question.
Sat, would you like to start?
I guess a natural woman would be someone who can be herself. So she doesn't have to, I don't know.
Fucking mansplainer. Sorry.
Hey, you dodged the bullet with your protein shake, alright?
Thanks, let me just get back to that. Carry on,
so,
Doc.
she doesn't have to be the stereotypical wife or girlfriend.
Yeah, don't have to pigeonhole.
Yeah. So she can literally express herself and be herself without being criticised or put down or being made to feel not good enough.
Yeah. And even during like the toughest times, as you can see in the first few lyrics, it says like, and when I knew I had to face another day, Lord, it made me feel so tired. I think we've all felt that way at, occasionally through the days, just feel knackered and can't be asked to do anything, and then you meet the right person and you feel like you can just be yourself. A natural woman.
Yeah.
Not myself personally, but maybe one day I'll feel like a natural woman. Who knows?
That day I cannot wait for.
Shout out Aretha when it happens.
I mean, what a simple line, but it just so powerful, isn't it?
Yeah, the way she delivers it is, why that is the case. Why the power is there with that sentence.
Breathtaking.
It is breathtaking. I've got one other line that I've highlighted. It's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th verse. Now I'm no longer doubtful of what I'm living for, and if I make you happy, I don't need to do no more. So yeah, now I'm no longer doubtful of what I'm living for, and if I make you happy, I don't need to do no more. What a nice sentiment that is.
That's very zen, isn't it? That's like
That's
true
like
happiness.
Ultimate love. Ultimate love.
Oh man.
It's because this partner's met all her needs, so she doesn't need to really do anything. She can be herself.
Oh, you know what I've done? Like,
Oh, it had to happen. Sorry, guys. Sorry, guys.
Oh no.
Hey, look, the thing is, nobody calls me. I don't have any friends. So this is a shock.
You've got us.
This is Dad's.
Oh, thanks, Ryan.
This is Dad's social life right here.
Shame.
Anywho, I'll edit that out. So yeah, one more line I had was which I know is wrong now because I've finally realised what the hell's I thought. Oh baby, what you done to me? And I was like, she's done all this positivity. Then why has she said this? Is like I saw that. Like, what you done to me? Why is she suddenly turned on him? It's a really weird
That's a
negative
very
sense.
millennial thing to do.
Yeah,
Like you hear one line and go, "You what?"
Yeah, it's
Just
like
react.
one typo in a WhatsApp message. You're done, son.
That's the Sun headline. That is. You go, "Oh, I'm kicking off already. What's this about?"
However, now I realise that what you done to me is the effect of love that has gone on to Aretha.
You don't even read the next line.
No?
You wrote your comment before reading the next line. You make me feel so good inside.
Yeah, I was honestly very confused.
Wow, super judgmental.
No, I'm not judgmental.
You are such a millennial.
Hey,
Must react instant something happens.
I don't need no
Hey.
context.
we're doing reaction videos next, boys. And did I?
To be
Hang on,
fair.
let me read that verse out. Oh baby, what you done to me? You make me feel so good inside. Yeah, I don't know why I missed that. Admittedly, I did this at work like about an hour and a half ago, but still.
Oh man.
Anywho, entertainment.
Can I have a quick comment?
Go on.
ahead.
It's probably a stupid comment, but Ammo's already.
I'm
already
down
pushed
by
the bounds.
Yeah, he's dragged us down. It's okay.
Could this be an empowering song for transgender people?
Oh, now that is
Ooh.
a statement. Explain, Ryan Willis.
Okay.
No.
It's
Can I just come out with a bombshell like
Because
that?
he literally just pulled the pin out of the grenade and put it in the middle of the room and went.
Bye, guys.
It's natural woman, so where does the trans bit come in?
Well, it's you make me feel like a natural woman.
And of course, there
Ooh.
is the big debate as to whether people who are trans, the women who are trans, should be recognised as women when they want to identify as. Which is a long and arduous debate. I'm sure they can rage on for decades.
I ain't touching that with a
Well,
barge pole.
fair enough, but no, it's a good point. It can definitely be seen as an anthem, which is kind of weird. We mentioned before that Aretha's song "Respect" was for what movements again? Women's
Civil
movements,
rights and
civil rights.
women's rights, yeah.
This one could be for not only women but also trans women. Perhaps it could be an anthem for that particular community.
Any oppressed minority, I guess.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Or
fucking
majority.
men.
Or majority.
Is it? Yeah, it's the
Well, I
toxic
think-
masculinity go fuck itself.
I think that's a very good point by Ryan, though. Like, a very good statement. If there are any transgender people watching this on YouTube or wherever, comment below. Let's see what they think. Because
Yeah, I'd like to find out
That'd
what
be
they
cool.
were there.
That'd
If it's stupid, call me out.
yeah, there you go.
Yes, please do.
So-
what a dumb idea that is.
Next song.
Stuart,
Oh,
did you
okay.
see the live version of when Aretha sang it in her latter years? When it is a tribute to Carole King,
No, actually.
who
I-
was the writer.
Obama cried, didn't he?
Yes.
Did he?
Yeah.
2015 at the Kennedy Center Honors place.
Ah.
And Obama was in tears, and it literally did bring the house down. She played the piano for a bit, and the biggest cheer she got was right at the end. She stood up, did the last few lines, but she sort of dropped the fur coat to the floor that she was wearing.
Oh, okay.
So the only bit that spoilt it for me was the fur coat.
That's where that was going. It's like every episode he has to shoehorn one of his beliefs. I felt like women shouldn't be called bitches. Veganism's the way forward. Fur is murder.
Peace begins what you put on your back. Okay.
I feel like you build that up just for the punchline.
No, it was for like Obama, being in tears, and a lot of other celebrities.
Hey mate, I was gripped.
Yeah, I was
gripped.
Hey, I loved it. It was goosebump stuff.
It was a PSA for not wearing tiger skin. Which you probably shouldn't. There you go.
Well done, Dad. You shoehorn that shit in where you can.
Thank you.
So, next song.
Next week it's going to be fair trade coffee. The magnanimous morals. That's what it's going to be.
I can see the T-shirt now. M&M.
Have you got anything left to plug? Because have we gone through Dad's plethora of the ways of life that should be?
Oh, there's lots more.
He is a life coach.
Well, they're onto synergy. Yeah.
Listeners, viewers, if you want to reach enlightenment, carry on listening to this goddamn podcast. So,
Oh man.
moving on.
Right.
My favourite Aretha Franklin song. I Say a Little Prayer.
Oh,
Now,
definitely.
allow me to go on a bit of a spiel, lads. So, I like this song a lot because I think it very accurately highlights or depicts how much you think about the person that you're in love with, or how much they come into your head on a day-to-day basis throughout moments in that day. Because I think in those moments you think how that person's doing, how they're doing well, blah blah blah, especially in the early stages of love for sure. And then I know you're gonna because I have these moments when I have been in love in the past, and the moment that you're gonna really call me out for some sort of wanking joke right now, but I often think about the person I was in love with, or people that I have been in love with, when I'm in the shower, because in my shower is the shower is
It's the epiphany zone. It's the epiphany zone.
I have all the time for years shower epiphanies.
Yeah.
Shower epiphanies are the greatest thing in the goddamn planet.
They're a thing.
And-
You're getting one of these.
But when you're in love,
Look, he's hanging.
Yeah.
She was hanging.
was that for me?
You was.
Yeah.
Thing is, you know what, Stu?
Not
you
to
know,
be left out.
No. You know
True.
what? Still, I can't turn right to you that much because I'm short-sighted. And you're really close to me, so when I see you, you go double vision. So if I saw this, oh my god, it's so pari. It's
3D lyrical analysis in 3D.
It's so jarring to do this, which is why I'm just looking forward most of the time. I can look at you, fine, you're all good, but you bastards are just fucking out my
picked the
sight.
scene
You
arrangement.
organised
The green screen is only a big.
I'll do 4DX and hurl some water or something,
Anywho,
Yeah.
There's rats underneath the table.
God, it's so windy. Jesus. God.
Where is that windy and not an earthquake?
Just wrestle this to the ground.
Everyone's a critic. Fine. Driving situation. There we go. High speed chase, Ryan.
Are we
The
there
Red
yet?
Dwarf crew.
Right.
Alright, let's go.
Let me finish the little spiel I had.
Yes, shower epiphany.
Yeah, so my moments came in fucking hell. That was so sensual.
Did you feel like a natural woman?
Mate, a little bit. Where was I? So I have lots of shower epiphanies. So in moments like that, that's when I sort of think about the person that I've been in love with.
That's
And
sweet.
masturbate.
No, that's a thing. It's a shower and masturbation for me do not go hand in hand. For some reason. Didn't even mean it. Just comes naturally. Just like me.
A natural man.
Oh,
Yeah.
God, I did 2 dick jokes in 10 seconds. I'm proud of you guys.
You're a little dicky. You are literally a little dicky. Hand in hand. You did definitely meant
So,
that.
although this is respect to Aretha, there's always room for a knob gag.
Or just a knob.
Yeah.
Or that. What have I done to Aretha on this podcast? I feel like out of all of us, I have caused the most shame. You may have compared her to shitty rappers, but I have done some bad things. And you know what? I wrote this massive paragraph out earlier and thought, you know what? This is going to be a really nice sentiment that I'm going to showcase how much I love the song and how much I love
great
Aretha.
song. It's
But
a beautiful song.
what have I turned it into? Fucking wanking jokes. And I feel slightly ashamed in myself. I've let the podcast down. I've let Aretha down. She's probably rolling in her grave about this guy, this British guy, chatting about wanking.
The student needs mouth to mouth.
There's always room for a knob to gag.
Don't worry, Ammo. You haven't desecrated Aretha Franklin as much as that priest who touched up Ariana Grande
Oh
at her
yeah, that's
funeral.
true. That guy can. Ooh.
What?
Yeah, you haven't heard about that.
You
then?
don't see this?
No.
There was Ariana Grande was performing at the concert, like a lot of people were, of course, because it was a tribute concert. And one of the priests that went up there was a little bit too handsy with Ariana Grande.
And it's on
right.
film.
Yeah, it's bad as well. Like, yeah, he's also like making jokes about it, thinking that it said something like Ariana Grande sounds like something you order at Taco Bell or something like that. And to be fair to Ariana, she like handles it quite professionally.
Has he
So,
been
like-
sort of reprimanded?
Oh, he's been
In any way?
Twitter like
Yeah, but like
destroyed.
in real life.
I'm not sure yet. I'm
Alright.
not sure.
Anyway.
Maybe when this comes out, who knows?
They do close
Alright.
ranks and protect each other.
Let
don't
me
they?
just rehash what I was trying to
Okay.
fucking say, right?
Let's not get into that case.
So, basically, I say a little prayer because,
Hang on, Stuart hasn't recovered
I'm
yet.
good.
You good? You good?
Yeah,
You know what?
We've gagged enough knobs. It's fine.
you know what? You fucking knob gaggers all here.
There's no way he can say that with a straight face and expect me not to burst out laughing. There's always room.
Alright, anyway.
There's always room.
I'm going to start this again because I feel like I need to reset myself and my mind, alright?
Woosa.
I can't even see my
You
page.
didn't say sensei then.
No. Woosa.
Centre.
Bad boys too, baby.
Oh, I haven't seen that in ages.
Reset.
Alright, so let's start again.
Okay.
So why do you like I Say a Little Prayer so much, Anna?
So, Stuart, I like the song a lot because I think it very accurately depicts how much you think about someone that you're in love with and how much you think about them throughout your day. So, for example, you've got while combing my hair, wondering what dress to wear. She's always thinking about their person and praying for their well-being, and that's how it is with love in the early stages, especially. And I thought, like, when you're truly in love with someone, that is a very relatable. She's made love and the feeling of being in love extremely relatable.
And
If she had
even when she's
shower-
running for the bus.
No, but she runs to the bus and then gets on the bus, and then she's thinking about it whilst riding said bus, thinking about that person.
Oh, okay. Not whilst running for the bus.
No, 'cause
I
she's
thought
like-
that was impressive.
I run for the bus. I run for the bus. Then it's while riding I think of us.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So,
Whilst he's running.
If there was only a shower epiphany line in here, this would be my song. I'd totally relate to it completely.
Does it even rhyme?
So many goddamn edits. I'm regretting this already. Yeah. So
Did you know
I
this
agree
was
with
a
you.
cover, Amo?
don't say that.
It was.
Oh my god! What the hell has she done this
again.
original?
No,
Okay, 19...
it's a sign of the times. That's why I wanted to talk about it.
What? Can I do?
19
I literally made a rule, by the way, of no covers going forward. And
We wouldn't have had anything to discuss.
You know, fuck this.
It's the sign of the times.
Aretha, what the hell, man?
It's their rendition of like a sample, like because Drake had tons of samples in all of his songs. Like One Dance's literal backing track is a sample, like it's a previous song.
It ain't a cover though.
I mean, there's bits and bits like the
Sample's
entire-
one thing, but a
the
cover.
chorus is the same. You know, what I mean, it's basically a cover with his own interpretation, the same way Otis Redding's and Aretha's.
I disagree. With
I think
that.
it was a compliment back in those days.
Yes.
I love this so much, I want to sing it.
And now it's
So,
okay. This day and age, it's more like I've run out of ideas. Let's just use this.
I think
sick
so, yeah.
beat or sick line or
Oh,
two.
there's still like Radio Live Lounge and stuff.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying there isn't. I'm just saying like people do reuse a lot of the old stuff, which is fine. I
Yeah.
guess it's
It did go too far back in the day, though.
Yes.
'Cause the day after the Beatles released Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band on an LP, you couldn't download it or anything. Jimi Hendrix listened to it. The next day, he played the whole thing live.
I watched that documentary with you.
Oh my
That
word!
was a good damn story.
Yeah. So, do you want to know what the song is all about then?
Yeah.
Okay, so
me.
1967, it was performed by Dionne Warwick, and another excellent singer you may or may not have heard of. And it conveys a woman's concern for her man serving in Vietnam.
Interesting.
So she's not just thinking about him, I haven't forgotten about you, I wish you were here, but she's praying for his safety and
That's
survival.
really sweet. That's really
So
Even
very
on a
sweet.
coffee break. I like that. It's relatable. I have a coffee break.
cool. And now it makes sense because when she's running for the bus, she's thinking of him doing like running drills at the army base.
Yeah.
That's really
oh
No, we've established she's not thinking about him whilst running
good try,
for said
Stu.
bus.
Good try.
sweet. God.
Lyrical analysis.
Why do you hate
Gotcha.
love?
I
God.
just tried to do a massive spiel about how much I enjoy being in love.
And your own
and
father
you-
ruined it with knob gags.
I think, to be fair, I started the train. Dad put more coal in the steam, and then just ran that thing off the rails. That was a really good analogy. Well done, Emma.
Very good. Very good.
When a self-tap your back there. It's just
Pop. Sorry, Dad. Carry on.
The link between the two songs. So the Sweet Inspirations, who are the three ladies as the backing band,
They call us
backing singers. They call them Sweet Inspirations.
That's my favourite band name
Yeah.
of all time.
That's a good favorite backing singer band.
They were the backing singers for Dionne Warwick.
Cool.
And they were in a dressing room with Aretha Franklin, and they were just singing it for fun. And Aretha thought, I think I'll do a cover
I'll
of
have
that.
some of that.
Yeah. So she significantly reinvented it.
Yes.
Put a lot of new instruments and stuff into it. So
I think that's why Aretha is like we can sort of bend the rules a little bit with the covers because unlike a lot of people back in the day, sometimes songs were just straight up stolen from people
Yeah.
because copyright laws were a bit lax, and like particularly black artists were getting like songs completely removed from the radio because their radio stations weren't quite as prominent, stolen by white artists. Like, you know, we mentioned in the group chat that Elvis Presley's Hound Dog was like recorded 17 years prior by what was it, Big Mama Thornton.
Yeah,
So that kind of stuff happened. So it's kind of interesting because Aretha didn't want to go down the route of I'm just having that song. She puts her own influence on it and her own perspective because, well, more often than not, the songs were from male artists.
I'm glad you think that, Stuart, because otherwise we wouldn't have had a podcast today.
He's only mad because I was like adamant to do Aretha because I thought it'd be a nice homage.
I'm annoyed that like my cover rule has now been completely fucked.
Semantics,
twice.
baby. Semantics.
Yeah, true. But no, very good points.
Yeah, so you like this song quite a lot, don't you?
I love it. I think so.
beautiful song.
All the lyrics.
Beautiful song.
I always thought
Okay,
it was
one
quite
stop.
weird.
Sorry, go on.
I was just going to say because like I say a little prayer. Obviously, it has religious connotations. Of course, you know it's a prayer. That's what it's synonymous with religion. And I'm not a particularly religious person at all. Like, I don't think I've prayed for anything for a while. I've never knelt down and like spoke to God my own self. So it's not quite a literal thing from my perspective.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if it is for somebody. If you to say I'm going to say a prayer for you, do you actually?
I just saw the love relation.
Yeah,
And
just
the,
sort of like I'm
the
thinking of you.
relatability in that sort of sense.
Well, I
Because
suppose that's a way
it
of
doesn't
prayer,
have to
isn't
be
it?
religious.
No, it's true.
You can
just say,
believe
"Oh,
in
I
the
hope someone's
universe, the greater good,
Yeah.
the life force.
There's the next plug.
The metaphysics.
good."
So a prayer can mean something very personal to you.
Yeah, so it
you
doesn't
dare mention the law of attraction. I swear to God, Dad.
They're great or good.
They're great,
Very good.
I'm just saying prayer is not necessarily just religious.
I know.
No, and that's what's evident with this song.
No, I'm just-
But it was another It was another crowbar, Amo.
I'm just ticking off my dad morality checklist.
I can handle like veganism like arguments, but he's not a flat earther, is he? Please say
No, he's not.
Thank
You're not.
God for
A
that.
flat earther?
Yeah,
No.
thank
no.
goodness.
You
for
can
that.
Conspiracy
I am a
theorist.
man of science.
That's
You're a
good as
conspiracy theorist.
Yes.
Okay.
Definitely. Illuminati and all this kind of stuff. Yeah.
Well, we saw the
You know, there's
Freemasons
flat
and everything,
earthers all
didn't we?
around the
Is that
globe.
true? You are right.
Flat
that
earthers
bring
all around the
the
globe.
Hey.
We cut no corners here, do we?
What's there
Okay.
for all around the globe? What would be the equivalent for flat earthers? That's
All across the map.
Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah,
say,
that's
Squaring the circle.
very good.
the end of the earth.
Nah, all across the map's a good one. Right, get down a t-shirt, sell that shit. Right, I've got a couple lyrics here that I didn't really fit in with the rest of the tone of the song, shall we say?
Okay.
Is it this
Damn
running
right.
for the bus one?
No, that's fine.
I'm really confused about how she was thinking and running.
We've established that was not one and the same.
You tried thinking on a treadmill, it doesn't work.
God, Ryan, you know how to trigger me, man.
I'm sure some people have their epiphanies on a treadmill.
That's it, man. That's their shower.
Showers, yeah, treadmill.
I think it's a good shower, baby.
You notoriously can't masturbate on a treadmill though.
Depends which gym you go to. There's a lot of 24/7 ones.
Oh no.
I'm never going to the gym with you, Sal.
You ever tried this new exercise, Stuart?
Arms and legs.
I bet it's a really good forearm exercise, you know? Really limbers up the wrist.
It's a gag fit. Oh, no.
Gag fit. New CrossFit.
More effective.
Right.
Probably, yeah.
So back to this touching love song.
So which line were you pointing at?
So
Please
all
let
this
me
positivity, all this like, you know, spiel about, you know, how much she's in love with him, how she always thinks about this guy, how it'd be like, you know, so painful to live without that person, would only be heartbreak for me, etc., etc., etc.
Very relatable.
Then it says, "Please love me too. I'm in love with you." So I'm like, does the man she's talking about not love her back?
Or maybe if it's regarding the like the Vietnam War or something like that, maybe it's like, oh, it's been gone for so long. Does he still love me?
Good point. The next thing I got then is "Answer My Prayer, Babe," which is, I guess this could mean one or two things. One, the man doesn't love her back and she's praying for it, or the man she's in love with, I've put, is dead.
Or it could be a literal prayer to. Maybe this song is all about Jesus. Maybe all about God. Maybe it's literally a religious song.
But now Dad said the Vietnam thing. The prayers
You're
are
writing a
definitely
letter.
for
Could be writing a letter.
letter, or but just praying for his safety as opposed to his, you know, well-being in sort of general life and society.
Maybe.
She wants him to come back to her.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe so.
yeah.
There's no doubt about
the
that.
Vietnam thing is the Vietnam thing has put like a whole new spin on things for me.
Yeah. It's an interesting
But
perspective.
that's all I've got for that song. God damn.
But what about the
53
last
minutes.
line? What about the last line though here? So an
That's-
8 line,
yeah.
or you might walk in
That's the result.
and find out I'm gone.
That's the result.
I haven't got
That's
that.
respect.
Oh, is it?
I was like, that's not right, is it?
Oh dear.
That's
Dad.
easy.
Oh, sorry, I have lost my thing. Sorry.
Right.
So,
goodness.
10 sheets
Hold
of
on.
paper. Thank you, Ryan. Good save
Well,
there.
now you
Yeah.
mentioned last lines, Dad. In the
You
last
could mash all these songs up, couldn't you, and have a lot of fun with them?
in the last 6 out of 7 lines, it's followed by the backing singers, my pen, saying, "Answer my prayer, babe. Answer my prayer, babe. Answer my prayer,
You
babe."
didn't have to do it 7 times.
I'm emphasizing the point. So,
You've got to
so-
do repetition with prayer
Yeah, you do.
in order to really
to get it out.
send the right
to get God's
vibration out.
attention. God's like, damn it, you're annoying me. Now shut up. I'll grant you your wish.
What is it? Just
Magic
making
man,
sure.
here we go.
Just making sure. Did you get that?
Yeah.
Get that?
I can't lift up this orange. God's like Wingardium Leviosa. Don't know why God is in the Harry Potter verse, but it's
Oh, I was
fine.
doing God as Shrek.
What?
Oh wait.
Stop singing!
Right, next song. Can I have my pen, please?
Where have you chucked it, you
Yeah,
crazy
okay.
person?
I got it.
Yes.
Right, so
Chain of Fools.
next song, Chain of
I don't think I
Fools.
heard this song, so I'm going to be a bit useless in this one.
Chain.
Oh! Yes, I've got a good little tidbit on that.
A tidbit.
Repeat chain quite a bit.
Is it a tidbit or a tidbit?
Or is it a knob gag?
Or is it a tit gag? Are we like
Hey,
diversified?
Stuart, that's going
on
to
this
keep you
phone?
going for days, isn't it? That's your weekend made. Every time you want to chuckle, every time you're feeling a bit of a lull in the day, you're just going to think knob gag.
I'll send you the video.
I wouldn't know how he edits it because he's been saying I'm going to be so happy. I want to see me.
Oh, we got to keep that in.
It's going to be on Insta, me bursting out laughing like an idiot.
I don't know, because then I'm doing my spiel about like what I think I've done to Aretha Franklin, and like,
like when
the,
you're pouring
the
it out.
self-realization is like, oh my god.
When you're pouring your heart out and your dad says knob gag, fills off one of your friends.
Oh, funny. Right. Chain of Fools.
Okay.
This was to be goddamn serious for once, guys. No, I'm joking. We can't be serious in this podcast. But we'll try our
Okay.
best. So Chain of Fools.
Yep.
Just about a girl or woman who realizes she is one of many girls in her boyfriend's life, and her boyfriend's chain of many girls. So
After 5 long years,
After 5
she
years.
finds out.
like-
That's got to hurt.
So even though she knows it won't last with this guy, but she sticks with him anyway. That's interesting considering like the sort of female empowerment sort of angle.
Yeah, definitely.
But in that
That's my
position,
thoughts.
you know, 5 years.
That's the thing, and also back then you got to think like, okay, in this day and age of like Tinder and social media and being like very openly easy to talk to people, like relationships aren't what they were back then. Like if you were with somebody and then you split up with them, or a divorce, heaven forbid, in the 60s or the 70s, that's like a red mark. If you're a
Massive
divorce,
deal. Massive deal.
it's a complete game changer. Like it's not like it is now. Like I genuinely know someone who's my age who's been divorced 3 times.
Whoa!
It's a bit shocking, but it's also like it's 2018. Like that's not that like out of the realm of possibility.
3 times.
It's a bit mad, yeah. They're like the real Ross from like Friends. It's weird, but either way,
Wait, was one of them a lesbian?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I didn't investigate actually. I have to now. But yeah, it's the way it is. So like being in a relationship now, like she might not have wanted to leave because of the ramifications. Like it's a little different. People
There's
like
a lot of
that now.
shame around it, and what's going to
Social
happen to the
standing.
woman. You know, post the divorce, you know, how's she going to live in the society?
Social standing as well, all that sort of stuff. But yeah, I've also got a sidebar, so shout out Aaron Ranger. Men are trash. But yeah, it's just a great song. So anything I've got... Yeah, I've got an oxymoron down here midway through the song, which is, I might be weak, yeah, but I'll give you strength.
By her staying with him and trying to meet all his needs. And being there for him, even though he treats her just like one of his harem.
Yeah, I think that I'm seeing this from a very sort of 2018 perspective. I'm not thinking like it was back then.
Yeah.
And I can kind of get it now.
Like being like underprivileged and being like weak in a
just being a woman in that position at that time.
Yeah.
It's difficult.
No, 100%.
Yeah.
So it was difficult.
And don't forget, in those days, most of the men went out to work, so a woman wasn't financially independent.
No, usually. a lot
Even
of
though
that
she did
has
the
been-
hardest job of running the house and looking after the kids and stuff, which is a lot harder than
Most
going out to
jobs,
work.
Alright, the next bit, sorry. And then, so I've got this oxymoron, then I've got an arrow down to a few lines later. My father said, come on home. My doctor said, take it easy. Oh, but your loving is much too strong. So is she saying that she can't resist the guy on that front as well?
Maybe so.
So is that just...
Maybe it's Dr. Feelgood again.
It's back for seconds.
What a bastard.
I think there is
Now he's Dr. Fool's good. Goodness gracious.
That's a podcast title.
Very good.
So, yeah. I didn't really get that angle because...
I think she's dependent.
Yeah, I was going to say, is it an attention thing? Is it like what she's used to?
It's
Therefore,
all
to
she
break from
knows,
that, yeah.
and even it's bad. It's better
familiar.
than nothing kind of thing, and it's familiar,
Familiar.
Which is why, you know, when people can't seem to understand a woman who suffers domestic abuse, violence, gets beaten up by her husband, but still stays.
Yeah.
This, you know, hostage syndrome and all sorts. You know,
Is it
Stockholm syndrome. Yeah.
And it's also one of them, like, it sounds awful, but, like, I can't believe we're going down this route. But,
No,
like, you
go
know,
on.
a victim will obviously always have that sense in their head that, like, it's their fault and they have to fix
That's
it
right.
themselves.
Yeah,
Which is,
yeah.
like, a horrible situation to be in, but that's unfortunately the way that it is.
There are
I'm
so
not-
many psychological factors that you can't even think about.
Oh, yeah.
It's,
There's no rationale.
It's years of sort of psychological grooming, isn't
Yeah,
it, in some
yeah,
cases.
There's
so-
no rationale behind, like, wanting
Yeah.
to stay behind somebody who you're supposed to love attacking you. That shouldn't fit, that's not a normal situation, so you're not going to get a normal response.
Yeah.
The next sort of verse of the one of these mornings the chain is going to break, but up until the day I'm going to take all I can take. Oh hey,
Damn, she's a
So-
trooper.
Wow.
She's a trooper.
She's gonna
it's some deep
hang
stuff,
in
man.
there,
It's some very deep
thick
stuff.
and thin. Yeah.
Is that kind of vindictive that she wants to take all she can? Or is
Is
it
that
more
showing-
like
No, that's
desperate?
take all she can from him in terms of abuse. I think.
Yeah,
You
she's
meant like in the divorce.
I
Oh,
I'm getting
I-
that Lamborghini.
I'm having the.
I saw this as like she's going to take all this shit and then
Yeah.
showcasing her strength as a woman.
But you
Yeah,
can't
yeah,
not
that's-
be
that's
there,
how I
whatever you
saw
got.
it, yeah.
Bring it.
But you know, it's a very deep track, very emotional track, and a very well written track for sure. So lyrically, I think it's very good. Very sad.
Another side of the times, like a lot of these songs seem to fit on one page of lyrics. So there's not like three.
Wow.
separate
There is a
verses.
reason
Okay.
why.
Dad, go on.
Go
do
ahead.
your
Have I-
spiel.
Back
this
in
is a segment.
Well, Dad had a conversation with me yesterday, and I was like, "Stop there because
It's
you're going to
gonna be-
ruin the podcast."
So,
Again,
well,
breaking my rule, but now you can do your spiel. I told
Okay.
you it would come up.
Welcome
Did
to
Yeah.
I tell you?
Welcome
Yeah,
to
thank you for
Sat's-
bringing that up, Stu.
Welcome to Sat's history lesson.
Another interesting fact. Okay, so in the 60s, have you ever seen a single in its vinyl form?
Yes,
Yeah.
vaguely.
You ever played one on a stereogram?
I think so.
Or
Yes.
on a record
That's
player?
A record player.
What?
Stereo.
Wind up.
Yeah, almost. But anyway, these things finish like lightning fast. So in the kind of capacity of the single and how they were pressed,
Yeah.
you could only literally get about maximum 3 minutes, and that was pushing it. So a lot of the early Beatles songs, they were very short,
Short
as well.
snappy. Wow.
A lot of the 60s songs.
That makes so much sense.
Because I did a 60s disco as a DJ back in the day, and I thought, right, I'll just play that one. Bloody hell, that finished quick. Let me get my next one on.
I just felt this must be why like Eurovision makes sure all the songs are 3 minutes or under. Because it's like back then they would have had that format where all songs would have been that long. So they must have just kept it as tradition. That's mental. My mind is blown.
Wow.
Yeah.
So,
Eurovision
So
knowledge
Iron Maiden would have
bomb.
struggled.
they need like four of them.
You know, you're like one of the
Back to back. Yeah.
You're one of the few men I know who likes Eurovision.
Like very
As
overt
a
love.
part of my-
Eurovision,
As a part of
fantastic.
my-
It's the greatest
Me-
thing in
honestly,
the world.
It's very rare. Like
stupidly
people,
brilliant.
people say my ridiculous love of this European competition, which now features Australia, is the most camp thing about me as a manly man.
I wouldn't say that. There's
No.
many more camp things about you.
All right, let's not turn this into another. Let's paramo. For
I mean,
half an
you
hour.
did just invite.
I did,
like-
but to be fair, what is more camp about me than that? That is pretty goddamn camp. If I went to see Eurovision, I'd be the
Have
only
you ever
straight
had a
guy in the
manicure or
audience.
pedicure?
Never.
Interesting.
We can keep going if you want. I mean, this could be either great or really
It turns
shit.
into have I never.
Yeah.
We just out you for some
All right, now
stuff.
let's should we move on to the.
Oh, can I just throw in one other thing? When I saw this chain, because I must admit I hadn't really heard this before. Guess which film it's used in? School of Rock.
Yes.
Oh.
You know when Tamika sings a little bit for Jack
Oh
Black?
my god, yeah.
She
I
sings
remember.
chain.
Chain.
And you know when he goes, great pipes, Tamika. Because I didn't get why. You know when a little bit later on, Tamika she says, "Look, I don't want to go on stage because I'm fat. I don't think I'm good."
Yeah, she had very
And-
confident issues.
And he says to her, "Hey, look at Aretha. She's big, but everyone wants to party with Aretha." So I thought, why did he use Aretha Franklin as an example?
And now you know.
And now I know.
Fantastic.
That's
So
great.
It all came around full circle.
Yeah.
Oh man,
And yeah,
I never
Like
caught
a
that.
chain.
like a chain of force.
There's no weak link in my chain of Tamika and the School of Rock now. It's,
That's a good
it's
reference.
complete.
Though.
that's
I
a
want
very
to
good
watch
point.
School of Rock again now. It's kind of mad.
Anyway, finale song.
Oh, okay, we're already at the final song. Bloody hell.
Gosh, is it all over already?
I thought it'd be a quick 45-minute podcast, an hour and 5 minutes so far.
Well, we did a brief tangent.
About
Or
8
two.
minutes of it, a lyrical actual analysis.
That's
but yeah,
true. Yeah,
it's all good.
a lot of laughing. So think.
Ah,
So a lot of freedom and respect for women.
Mm-hmm.
Respectpa.
I get the feeling Aretha was quite proud to be a strong, independent black woman.
You would assume.
I'm getting this sense that that's what most of her songs are about.
So I like this song because it's quite open. So she leaves it open lyrically. She doesn't want to say exactly what this man is doing to her. So it's relatable to women in a variety of situations. So
Not just women in there, is it? It's
true, very true. That's how I just saw it as being Aretha.
especially
And
the freedom
connotation
bit
she
is used in like everything, isn't it?
had. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It's very much an advert, like clinger, isn't it? It's going to be in most adverts you'll see. Bit
Yeah.
of freedom.
So, Dad, do you want to go or shall I?
yeah. Oh, go on. You've
No,
probably
you-
got the same thing. Go on.
So I've got like lines here. Yeah, so I didn't get this line first of all. So you couldn't have been
Yeah.
too much more than 10, just a child. Judging from lyrics before and after, I really don't get the context of
Yeah,
this just a
same
child
here.
thing. So, I mean, can you guys see any
I ain't no
sort of
scar,
thing?
but to see what you're doing to me. So, did she know him when he was 10?
Maybe they were like childhood sweethearts, perhaps.
The
But then
girl next door?
but to have the lyrical openness and the vagueness, and then have this really weird particular detail,
Well,
kind of threw me off a
I
little
suppose
bit.
that's one way to like ground it. It's supposed to be like, okay, here's the relatable part, and now it's like about my story. It's about me.
But it's one line, and it's not elaborated on further. So it seemed very out of place for me.
Yeah, but Ammo, is it making you think?
It did because I'm analysing the lyrics in a really
So
deep
hasn't
fashion.
the song worked out? Because it's called Think.
Fucking hell, this guy, man.
To be honest, I didn't
You know
get
what?
that either for a second.
It's such honestly, Ryan. What you do is an art form. Like every podcast, you'll find a way.
Bullshitting.
Yeah, no, thinking of ways to include this in some sort of pun fashion. It's like calling you the pun away train.
Oh, no.
Yeah. But you know, she's saying, let your mind go, let yourself be free.
Yeah.
That could be something you do in a counselling session. So just let your mind go free. Just whatever comes into your mind.
God, it's another one.
Where are you?
Another one off the bloody checklist, isn't it, Dad? Old life coach extraordinaire over here.
So that could be the psychiatrist angle,
Yeah.
you know. But still, I can't quite figure it,
Yeah.
where it fits in with this.
Yeah. That's a good point. I never saw that. Again, this is me not going to the next line. Again, just a child, but then I'm no psychiatrist. That kind of fits.
Yeah.
But still,
Free your mind.
But again, doesn't really elaborate on it, so it's very strange. I think keep it all vague.
It did stick out like a sore thumb there, didn't it?
I suppose now that we know that the songs have to be so short, maybe it's quite difficult to elaborate on like specific details.
Yeah.
Just give a few sound bites.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Like, I knew this guy when I was 10 and moving on.
if you're gonna do that, give me like one detail per verse or something. You got 4 to work with, like apart from choruses. So
It's also got to be catchy.
His name's Stephen.
Yeah.
You rode a red bike.
Anywho, I'll put the next 3 lines are an excellent triple threat.
Oh, okay.
So after that, it's I ain't no psychiatrist, I ain't no doctor with degrees, but I don't take too much high. I don't take. Sorry, fuck's sake.
But
I
it don't
ain't-
take too much.
But it don't take too much.
I'll say it again. I ain't no psychiatrist, I ain't no doctor with degrees, but I don't take too much high IQs to see what you're doing to me.
So it means I don't have to be super, super smart.
Exactly. I thought it was very clever. It's very simple, but it's very clever, and you just get it. You get the message straight away. There's no incoherentness. It's just to the point.
Well, I quite like
It's all
songs
good.
like that. There's a lot of songs where they people just announcing they love people regardless of their status or their intelligence or their job or something like that. I quite like Sam Cooke's "What a Wonderful World." That's another one that's basically talking about. It's the song where it's like
It's not a cover, right?
No. It's like. No, it's the one where it's like don't know much about history, don't know much about biology.
Yeah.
That one, but I do know that I love.
Who is
you.
it? Sam
Cooke with an E.
No idea.
Beautiful song. But yeah, basically that song.
Cookie.
Is, Cookie. Well, Cook. Yeah, pretty much Cookie. Cookie. But yeah, he basically sings about he doesn't care how smart he is. He doesn't get straight A's, but he loves his person regardless.
But the one thing he does know is how to love.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. Or like Uptown Girl by Billy Joel.
And when they were getting straight A's, like that was back in the dump days.
Back in the dumb
Very
days.
Alright. Right. Last thing I've got here is the extremely powerful verse that is, "Oh freedom, 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 freedom," and that it just repeats. I'm not going to go on.
Sad in freedom.
I missed out in this podcast. You're singing, Ammo.
I'm not doing
the
the
ones
singing.
you've been singing them to the tune.
I've not been singing. I've been occasionally getting too into
you
it.
belted some of them out.
You have.
Whereas
Lamborghini. No, I'm joking.
That was
We'll level the volume out. Yeah.
Such a millennial. Anyway, this verse is very, 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 very powerful, very iconic, and just hits you right in your soul buttons. That's all I got. That's the rest is just sort of the rest I've just got very empowering and
That's
upbeat and
synonymous with her style.
yeah.
Very much so.
And what about the end bit? There's a bit about forgiveness, and then to the ball forgiveness.
I didn't get it.
I didn't quite get to the ball forgiveness. Think about it, baby.
Are they going to a ball, maybe?
Aretha, you shall go to the ball.
There you go to the ball, Cinderella.
Or to think about it to your core, and she's speaking to a man, and it's like your core is your ball. Best in brackets.
I hope not.
I don't know, Ryan.
it shouldn't be there, Emma.
Damn.
How big are your legs? Your balls are your core?
Not as in like it is my core of my body from a biological perspective, from a psychological perspective. A man's core is a man's core, not his balls.
I mean, you think with your bollocks. Is that what you're trying to do?
Thank you,
Okay.
thank you. Fuck me.
Well, everything he says is bollocks.
And that would
It's
make
definitely one of the two.
sense, because the song's called Think. Maybe you think with your penis.
That was a better fucking pun than your one.
Saying a competition.
Anyway.
So, guys, you'll be pleased to know that Aretha wrote this song
Hey!
in conjunction with her husband, Ted White,
Oh, that's
in
sweet.
'68. So
About
they
time, not
wrote
bloody
that
cover
together.
Aretha. I'm joking.
Wow.
Well,
And,
Weird time to take shots.
have you seen her
Cameras up
perform
and
it?
stuff.
Have you seen her perform it in the Blues Brothers? The
No.
Blues
No.
Brothers.
I've never
Have you
seen
seen the
them.
Blues
That's
Brothers?
a great film, but no,
So
I haven't seen it.
Aretha plays a waitress in the Blues Brothers, and she does a sort of a little scene where there's a guy who she's singing these lines to, and she's got her 3 backing singers. They look a bit scary, like they're going to kind of rip him to pieces any moment. So they're just walking around this cafe singing these lines to him, and she had to lip sync that. But because she wasn't used to lip syncing, unlike today.
Hardy ha ha. Shots fired.
That's to do a number of retakes and edits to get it all to match.
Oh, wow. Good shade, Dad. Good throwing you some shade there. I like that. Right. I think it is time. Actually, I'll do the quick social media input right here. So, social media things have now been set up. If you're a fan of Twitter, follow us at Analysis Lyrical. Sadly, Lyrical Analysis was taken and the lads didn't want me to go for my second choice, which was Lyrical Anal Pod. But hey ho, you can't have everything you want in life. If you're more fond of the gram, we are at Lyrical Analysis on there. I am at ammo_panesar, that's at AMO_PANESAR. Stuart is at the Stuart Wilkie, that's at THESTUARTWILKIE. And Ryan and Dad are social medialess, for now anyway. Finally, if you'd like us to analyse any particular artist or provide us with your own analysis, feel free to email us. The address is lyricalanalysispodcast@gmail.com. Back to the podcast.
Bam.
Oh, we're not going to do any little interesting facts, about Aretha. She did some landmark things.
Do you want to go through it? Let's do this. Is a tribute to Aretha.
Okay, so for example,
tidbits.
In 1987, she became the first woman inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Wow, that is amazing. Man.
So she was the first there.
Wait, first ever woman.
First ever woman.
Ever.
And she's black, which is that's massive.
That is actually kind of mind blowing.
Yeah.
For Aretha.
And, not just a singer, but a songwriter, actress, pianist as well.
Yeah.
So I think she's the most charted female artist in history. Something like 112 singles on the Billboard, 75 million records worldwide.
Damn.
This is before like people were churning out 40-song albums. Like this was like
Drake.
6-song EPs at best, like every year or so.
Yeah, and to do all that and the civil rights movements and the women's rights. So a lot of her money that she made, she did benefit concerts to raise money for the women's the rights movements, protests, and she even paid for people's payroll so that they could do this.
That's fantastic. You got to think like inflation. Like back then, she would have been like a flipping billionaire, but obviously back then money wasn't quite worth as much as it was.
Yeah.
So for her to even give up anything, even in her like state, it's quite impressive.
Mm. But she had some quirks, some diva quirks.
Yeah, I mean, you got to, I guess, to be the queen, to be the queen of soul, you've got to have some drawback, surely.
Yeah. So on tour, part of her concert contract, she liked to receive $25,000 of her performance fee in cash on the night of the concert.
Ooh,
so can you imagine $25,000 back in the 70s?
She just loved like opening briefcases with money. She was just
Aretha's like before show. Come on, lads, hit the casino.
Nothing like a bank transfer. I want to see the real thing.
Yeah. Mate, you want to feel that green, baby? That's
Yeah.
She's just laying in the back of a car surrounded by money.
Like Breaking Bad style kind of thing, but in a car.
She's
She's definitely hitting the freaking casinos with that pre-show, like that pre-show ritual.
Maybe
$25,000.
Maybe she didn't trust like the bookers. Like back then, people might have like shafted artists.
Yeah. Cash up front.
25k in cash probably isn't as much as we think. You know how like it is in the films, it's like a whole briefcase full.
It's actually like one.
It's actually like one wad, if that. Like a small half of the wad thing as well. Anyway, carry on.
Okay. She for her live show, she stated that her and her security personnel must be accommodated in hotel rooms below the 5th floor. So some sort of superstition about
It's just fire safety, really, isn't it?
And if she didn't want to be too sort of high in altitude because she had a massive fear of flying. Massive fear. So, but here's a funny one. She held the mark for the most Hot 100 entries among women from 77 until 2017, until Nicki Minaj took her over with 73 visits to the chart.
Say, wasn't that quite recently as well?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Well,
so there's a few. Oh, and here's a nice little tidbit as well. So Aretha Franklin's voice was legally declared as one of Michigan's natural resources in 1985.
Wow, that is amazing.
that is a boss.
So you can be a national treasure, but a national resource.
Yeah.
Your song.
Your greatest
music.
export.
Wow.
Well, that's a bit harsh. I mean, nah, yeah, you're probably right.
On what?
Michigan.
No, probably. Well, Detroit is quite an industrial area, isn't it? So it's known for its like muscle cars and like secondary.
Motor City.
Yeah,
As
secondary industry kind of things. So you know,
Michigan wasn't that Detroit?
Yeah.
that is but Detroit is known for manufacturing.
Yeah.
So manufacturing and
Not anymore, it's not.
yeah. Now it's a video game.
That's it.
So, I think my final words are we ever going to see the likes of her again in this current climate?
Well, as you've said, Nicki Minaj. Podcast over. See you guys.
Drop the mic.
I think life is cyclical, so I can see like the Nicki Minaj's and Cardi B's having their day, and they'll come back. Someone will break through who is of that ilk eventually. I think things will go.
Do you think
around,
Adele is anywhere in that?
Lyrical
category?
Apparently Aretha Franklin had a lot of respect for Adele. She really liked
Yeah.
Adele.
She did a cover of Rolling in the Deep.
Did she?
Yes.
I did
Yes.
not
really
know
good.
that. That's really
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
I want to listen to that.
We
now.
should do Adele at some point because I've not really delved into her lyrics that much,
Yeah.
and I've just like
It's quite a lot of like I'd need to be like emotionally ready. There's a lot of soppy ballads
as
that
a
I need to
man-
prepare for.
as a man who's been listening to a lot of Bullet for My Valentine recently, I think I'm ready.
That might be the best
So-
thing you've ever done.
Ready. Alright, that is actually very true. That is very true. Yeah.
Shout out, Bullet.
That's,
Yeah,
the,
they-
that's
you're
the
right, these-
girliest metalhead that I've ever become. Anyway.
These songs are emotionally draining though, because after I listened to about 10 of these, I had to put some Iron Maiden on and get some metal back on me. Yeah.
Would you
I will
say?
say you mentioned like will there ever be somebody like Aretha
Yeah.
again? And you mentioned you quite like the idea of there being certain circles in music, and it all comes back eventually, like the retro feel of some certain things. I don't think you'll ever replicate her in any sense because the
So
environment around her
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
shapes the kind of music. Like, there's a reason why rap music's prominent now. There's a reason why punk and rock were prominent in the 60s and 70s. Like everything sort of has its time and its place.
Yeah.
And I don't know if like rhythm and blues and soul music will be that impactful as its own like core anymore.
But niche things sometimes break through again.
Maybe.
So you never know.
Maybe. And look, let's be completely honest. If there's anybody that ever sounds like Aretha Franklin just singing soul songs, they're definitely going to make it, surely.
Yeah.
Like you'd imagine so.
100%.
But
That
she
voice
was-
just draws you in. Sorry, Ryan,
She
carry
was
on.
so massive in music because music wasn't as massive as it is now.
Yeah,
Good
she
point.
Was she was a,
Good
she was a
point.
big fish in a small pond almost.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a lot more diverse now.
That's
with,
it. And anyone can make
Yeah,
music
yeah.
now. Like if we
Yeah.
could genuinely make a song and post it on YouTube right now.
Planning
It's
to.
Stay tuned,
Shall we?
Let me get this shit sorted first. That's my next goal.
Ammo and his 3 backing singers.
I'm nobody's backup singer. Okay? I'm the diva of the group. I don't give a fuck.
Oh, Ryan, a bit of a power struggle going on here.
Yeah, yeah.
He's wearing the leather. I can't mess with that. I can't do that.
I'll be the grumpy bass player.
It's a bit like James and Lars in Metallica.
You always wear sunglasses. Like bright sunglasses too.
I'm not.
Elton John style.
Yeah.
big ones.
I'm not.
Anyway.
I'm not doing a band with you fools.
He's already left, guys.
I've already Zayn Malik.
Last week, Ammo quit the band.
All right, should we go
Okay.
to rankings /
I was gonna say let's do final scores
Let's wrap it up.
because it is getting to the bedtime.
the bedtime?
Yeah.
Okay, who wants to go first?
Is it Dad first? No, it's Stuart first, isn't it?
Yeah, normally I think.
Yeah, go this way. So Stuart, you're first.
Okay. Well, this podcast is called Lyrical Analysis. Let me try that again. Lyrical Analysis. I can't even get the.
It's a
podcast
goddamn
right.
tongue twister. I've
really
chosen for a
is.
goddamn podcast name.
Ugh.
You can just call it anal pod. if you
Yeah,
want.
anal
Yeah, it's the Y and the I
Lyrical.
close to each other.
Anal pod.
Oh, God. now
That
again.
will be the theme song instead of the jingles for you guys with your rhymes.
No. Anyway,
Lyrical.
we're supposed to be analysing lyrics. Now, I didn't know if we should sort of mark down
Lyrical
certain things.
anal pod. Sorry, just finish the end of it.
Okay. Anyway,
Anal
I didn't know if we should bring down marks for unoriginal in the sense that they're cover songs. But I also figured if in this scenario, because it's from a different perspective and it can be taken in a different context, I think that the lyrics should stand. And also, given the fact that every song had to be, under 3 minutes.
Sub
maximum,
3 minutes probably, yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
it's much more impressive to get like impactful and meaningful songs in such a short period of time.
Yeah.
So with all of those things being said, like her music's going to last forever. You know, she's an icon. The Queen of Soul will never be like that title will never be removed from her. I'm going to say a solid 8 out of 10. I think the songs, but they're simplistic, but at the same time they're straight to the point. They're meaningful. They're emotional, and they're very relatable. Like I'm sorry, but like me and Aretha Franklin couldn't be two like more different people. Like. We're just, you know, she's a black female from the United States who grew up in the 1940s. I'm a white male who grew up in the 90s in the UK. We're
Fucking millennial.
You know what I mean? We're two completely different personalities, but her songs can still resonate with me. Like, R.E.S.P.E.C.T. is an anthem for every single person, man, woman or child. So, with the greatest respect, I give her an 8 out of 10.
Ryan.
I'm going to be boring and also give an 8 out of 10.
Reasoning,
Pretty
rationale.
high scores. Pretty high scores.
Reasoning and rationale, please.
Oh, it's the calm before the storm, though. Yeah, she empowers so many movements. She was an icon at the time and still is now. Nice voice crack there.
But are we marking purely on lyrics, or are we marking on the whole person?
That's why I
and what
prefaced
they bring.
it with the
If
element
the
there.
lyrics
On their
do
own,
lead
standing.
to...
Hey, well, let's ask our chairman. Chairman, what's our criteria?
He likes being
I mean,
blessed.
I've said this for the last 3 episodes. It's
Say it again.
purely lyrics. But if you don't want to listen, guys, you go off on your ones. I'm going to goddamn stop you. So,
guys, what I'm going to do is just ignore everything Emma says and give her an 8 out of 10. So, thanks.
what the fuck's new?
Alright, Sat, what you got?
Okay, so lyrics-wise, then, most of the songs are based around relationships.
Yep.
Pretty much all of them. So I would have liked to have seen a little bit more diversity in terms of material, especially given the climate she was growing up in. So women's rights, civil rights, you know, there's a lot of, it's sort of, you know, the kind of male-female dynamic lyrics, even though they turned into anthems. So I'm doing it on lyrics alone because I know what my kind of upper level is, and I know what my lower level is based on the last 3
Good Lord.
podcasts we've done.
Well, she has to be the highest one.
Oh yeah, she's definitely going to
If
be
she's not
higher.
2 or higher, I will be amazed. I will be amazed if you're sending
So-
for people if KSI gets higher than Aretha Franklin. Sorry, KSI.
So I know what my 10 is, and I know what my 0 is.
Is your 10 a 3 on the chart?
On whose chart? So I think I'm going to give Aretha a solid 6 here.
No,
Whoa.
that's big.
Okay.
Dad, you're
That's
you are
massive
the
for Sapper.
curveball of the
I was going to
podcast.
say, that's literally triple Little Dicky. That's mental.
Yeah, look, it's all relative, because
It
like I
is.
said, I've got my
That's
high
12
level.
times KSI.
I'll give him that.
Hang on, who did I give 0.5 to?
KSI.
Was it KSI? Wasn't it?
Oh, listen back to the other podcasts for
The ones
before
in
you
the
listen to
future.
this bit.
Oh, narrative. Get part of the narrative. So I guess it's me now.
Yeah.
So,
You don't have to mark if you don't want to. It's up to you.
well, you know, it's kind of the whole shtick with the podcast. I think I might try.
Hey, go against the grain.
I think
Don't let
that
society tell you what to do.
it's my own rules.
And
Society is me.
So my mark was purely on the lyrics. I mean,
yeah.
obviously should have got higher score. Were we doing it around her contribution to the, you know, movements and stuff?
feel the shades, Zach. I can
yes. So lyrical wise, 6 out of 10. Artist wise.
Oh, we're not doing 2 levels, are we?
No.
You can just say what
No,
you
no,
feel.
no, no, shut, no.
Just say a quick 9.
As the arbitrator and creator of the podcast, no.
She's 9 out of 10 status for me. In that.
No,
That's what I'm
no.
saying.
And we have course listen to what Amo says all the time.
God,
I do, because there comes a time
I am
when
creating
the
the
child
rules
becomes
for
the
the fun
parent,
of the
and the
podcast.
parent becomes the
To
child.
quote our good friend James McKenna, if you don't follow the rules, it's no longer fun.
Wow.
Let's say that.
That's such like an Amy Santiago quote from Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yeah, that's
You need
right.
to watch, by the way.
Was that
Yeah.
when we were playing board games?
9.
Was that, yeah, it's playing board
Was it
games.
Scrabble or something?
He says it repeatedly when he plays board games.
Yeah.
Ammo.
Rank.
Rank Aretha. Come on now.
Alright, so my rank is, I'm not gonna lie, when I was going through these songs in my analysis, one thought came to mind that is probably wrong, but was Aretha like the former day Taylor Swift? Because of how much she talks about the same sort of subject matter. I'm not saying that's true. It just as a thought that came to my mind. I processed it. I'm probably incorrect.
I suppose in those
but there are
days-
some parallels. You know what I mean?
I suppose in those days, like the limits on what you could actually sing about and be radio ready. I mean, you're not going to hear like NWA in the '60s, aren't you? You're not going to hear like F the Police or.
No, I totally get that, but
You know what I mean?
there's a variety of different content that you can do that you can do that is not of that sort of level of vulgarity
That's
and
true, but
explicitity.
we
She
even
could have
thought-
done a whole song
Explicitity.
about running for the bus, couldn't she?
That's true.
And
how she
thinking
wasn't
about her
thinking-
man at the same time.
Stop triggering me. Anyway, back to my sort of my analysis. So yeah, I thought maybe Taylor Swift sort of things going on there, but I think for what she does talk about, the lyrics she does, use in her tracks, covers or not covers, they're just so relatable across the board.
A lot of finesse there.
A lot of finesse, and the content it's clean. In this day and age, it's very difficult to make sex clean, and she does it in a way that is not smutty.
It's a fascinating.
Don't
Yeah.
look at me like that,
No,
Ryan.
right.
Like you can think of a million jokes to say about the line I just said about sex not being clean or being clean. Either way.
Aretha was always a classy, glamorous
Cheers.
woman, wasn't she? Like she was a larger than life character.
Definition
She
of a
still
class act.
exuded her sexuality very proudly.
Definition of a
I
class
really agree
act
with
for sure.
What we haven't said yet, timeless. The song's still relevant now.
I was going to come on to
After
that.
how
I've
long?
stolen your point.
Yeah,
But the artists we've done so far, like,
they're memes. They're
Yeah.
very much like in the moment
Yeah, like,
people, whereas
really-
Aretha is the one that sort of it'll transcend time.
Like her recording of Respect is 51 years old this year. Is Drake One Dance going to be played in 2067?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I might live to see
No.
the day, but I might not.
Is it going to be played in
We've-
2027?
Who knows? We'll see. It might fade from existence.
In
It might be like
2027,
history.
in 2027, it'll only be shown on those like music catch-up shows on
Like,
4
yeah,
Music, top
like
100
history
from
and
like
stuff like that. Yeah.
the 10s or
Yeah.
some shit.
I mean, Stuart, it disappeared off my playlist. It barely lasted a year. Really?
Kids are fickle though, aren't they?
Let's say,
It was yesterday's fish and chip
there,
wrap.
there wasn't enough. Man's not hot in that one, so it's okay. They've moved
Anyway,
on there. the
can I
kids.
give my goddamn
Yeah,
final
yeah,
score?
yeah.
So,
Whenever you're ready. Take your time.
lyrics alone. So, as you can see from my lyrical analysis throughout the podcast, there's only a few things that I've questioned. There's nothing that's so sort of jarring to me that requires a massive sort of decrease in score. I'm thinking 9.
Whoa!
I'm
Aretha,
I'm
coming
really
in
thinking
hot
9.
with a 9 out of
Hot
10.
damn.
I think it
Well,
was
it's
large.
She's 100% the highest scorer so far.
Yeah,
That's easy.
There's not much to fault on the things that, because you know me, lads, I can find fault in pretty much God.
I mean, yeah,
So
just straight up hate Coldplay for no reason.
we'll get onto that.
The music in The Lion King, though.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
All right, look, I just like my films without some bloody musical interludes that get in the way of like real narrative and real dialogue.
Hey, what
I'm gonna
about Toy
cut-
Story?
Yeah.
Do you like the songs in Toy Story?
Ah, yeah. To be fair, they're pretty good. That's Pixar.
I'm gonna
Pixar do bits.
I'm gonna edit The Lion King with that to cut all of the music from it and make you watch it and then tell me
Hey.
that it's a better movie.
Way better.
You're a lunatic, fucking lunatic.
I'm just triggering me now.
Nice.
Akuna Matata's a banger, but bar that, I can't even remember.
Scar,
I can't
be
even remember.
prepared. Are you mental?
You know
Are you
what?
mental?
Apart from Akuna Matata,
Chills. I'm getting chills.
Apart
right now, thinking.
from Akuna Matata,
Jeremy Irons singing about Be Prepared.
apart from Akuna Matata, I couldn't name a single song.
Circle
Can you
of
feel
Life.
the love tonight? Circle of Life. Oh my god, I hate
Look,
you right now. So bad.
I've not watched The Lion King that much in my adult years. I'm not gonna lie. I watched it as a kid, like profusely. But,
Even
you know.
freaking Rowan Atkinson just singing the freaking song when he's lonely.
I'm good, fam. I'm all good.
I've
God,
got
what have you done to him?
I just don't like musicals. I think they're just a burden on society. Anywho,
Not a musical person.
Yeah.
What can I say?
yeah.
You
We
like
should
them.
not do
Can
a
I move?
musical
Can I just-
podcast.
Can I finish?
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
God damn.
We're on the edges of our seats, Samo.
9 out of
So-
10.
So for the reasons that when going through her lyrics, I can't really fault much at all. surely that can only mean one thing. That is a very high score, and that should be a 9. And like a few of the songs I relate to in a very deep fashion. So, and the fact that, you know, like you said, a person of that old era can do that to someone of my era and my gender as well, if you want to put it like that. It's very, very, you know, you got to respect it.
Hey. Wow.
So that is my score.
Okay.
Shall we end it there, people?
I guess
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
I guess that's everyone.
Rest in peace, Aretha Franklin. You will be sorely missed.
Yes.
Yeah.
You were a gem.
Salute that.
You're a gem. You're a talent. And as always with this podcast, to end on, when it comes to lyrics, look beyond the surface.